It's more than that. You're going to have at least some layers of coat. There's primers, there's base coats, there's colour, and unusually we put on 2 clear coats of lacquer. But you could have up to 23 layers of coating, which we've done before, equating to about 45 kilograms in weight just of coat.
In addition to the endless variations of colour, Rolls-Royce customers can infuse their paint with materials to create special effects. One particularly wealthy customer went one step further, requesting the addition of 1,000 diamonds.
We wanted a bit more sparkle in the finish, so it gave us a bag of diamonds. We crushed them, they were infused into the paint.
Remarkably, the detailed paintwork on Rolls-Royce cars is done by hand by just one person.
My name is Mark Court and I am the coach liner for Rolls-Royce Motor Cars. A coach liner means that I am able to put this pinstripe onto the side of the car. The uniqueness is the fact that I do it completely freehand, and I'm the only one within Rolls-Royce that can do this. That's like worldwide within the Rolls-Royce BMW group. So the brushes I use is made of squirrel hair. We found that most brushes nowadays are man-made, which tends to leave brush marks within these lines. This is a natural hair. This natural hair tends to leave no marks at all. So we work to one standard, which is the highest standard. So we use one that leaves no brush marks at all.
And if customers without a coach line decide to add one to their car, Mark is on hand to travel worldwide with his paintbrush.
As normal, with Rolls-Royce, Rolls-Royce never comes back to us. We go to it. So if it's in Dubai, so be it. That's where I have to go.
There are several unmistakable features of every Rolls-Royce exterior. The handmade Pantheon grille, the self-righting wheel centres that ensure the RR logo is never rotated, and the Spirit of Ecstasy ornament. In fact, in 2003, BMW paid $65 million to acquire the rights to the Rolls-Royce name, symbol, and the Spirit of Ecstasy. But it's inside the car where luxury and cost dramatically increases. To create a virtually silent ride, Rolls-Royce adds approximately £300 of acoustic insulation around the cabin. Its tyre manufacturer, Continental, even developed special foam-filled tyres, which reduced the noise of the road by 9 decibels. The results were so profound that Rolls-Royce removed some soundproofing to avoid causing acoustic sensory deprivation. The dashboard of the Rolls-Royce Phantom can even become a bespoke art gallery. Customers have commissioned artists to produce all sorts of designs for this space, including this gold-plated, 3D printed stainless steel installation that replicates the customer's DNA profile. Another shining feature of Rolls-Royce is the Starlight Headliner, an intricate series of fibre optic roof lights that recreate the night sky. Stainless steel installation that replicates the customer's DNA profile. Another shining feature of Rolls-Royce is the Starlight Headliner, an intricate series of fibre optic roof lights that recreate Starlight profile. 3D produce all sorts of designs for this space, including this gold-plated, 3D printed stainless steel installation that replicates the customer's DNA profile. Another shining feature of Rolls-Royce is the Starlight Headliner, an intricate series of fibre optic roof lights that recreate the night sky.
It takes up to 16 hours to build the Starlight Headliners. We're starting by drilling it, and we perforate every single hole to thread fibre optic through every single hole. We've got up to 1,340 holes.
Больше жадинами. Губцы и так далее, да, понимаю.
We're doing this to achieve the stars, on the sky. So we're going to have the sky in the night covered with stars.
As with all things Rolls-Royce, customers can create bespoke starlight designs, including randomly generated shooting stars. One customer even had their design matched to exactly replicate the constellation of stars from the night they were born. The embroidery on the upholstery is also tailor-made to the customer's design choice.
So there's no real standard process that's repeated with embroidery, just because every single design is completely unique to the customer. It's not just a case of scanning in an image, turning it into embroidery. Every single aspect of the image is thought out. The different angles of the stitch will reflect the light in a different way. So rather than it just being a flat image, we're trying to bring it out to that next level. So it's almost three-dimensional, like a hologram effect that you can get from our stitching.
Starting out with any new project management software usually feels something like this. Where do you even start? Well, you've probably got some to-dos written down somewhere, right?
The most complex embroidery project Rolls-Royce has completed is this special Rose Phantom model, which consists of 1 million individual stitches.
The Rose Phantom is the biggest embroidery we've done today. We'll have to map out exactly what order we're putting all those embroideries onto the leather so that they all join up to match some of the stitching. There's no tolerance, it can't be out by a millimetre, otherwise it's completely written off. Just take a small aspect of the Rose Phantom. It's a good example of the development of one of the butterflies. What seems relatively simple in like an image actually becomes very complex for embroidery. So for the Phantom Rose Headliner, there's a few techniques that we hadn't used before. Because of the scale of the Rose Headliner, we had to break it down into individual elements. So each individual butterfly, the flower heads themselves, and then all the vines and leaves. So you can see here, it's basically different layering of different coloured stitches in different densities. And by building those up, we can create that sort of fade effect where it's darker to the centre, fades out towards the wings, fine-tune them to the quality that we expect, and then start combining it and bringing it all together for the whole headliner.
Rolls-Royce has seen a boom in sales over the last 10 years. In 2019, sales increased by roughly 25% to 5,152 units, with the average age of a Rolls-Royce owner dropping from late 50s to mid-40s. Take Drake, for example. His Bashukan model, a special edition of the Phantom, left the factory at a value of about $700,000. However, the customizations that Drake made, such as the diamond-encrusted Ovo Owl in place of the Spirit of Ecstasy, is thought to have brought the overall price to about $1 million. The most expensive Rolls-Royce model ever built was the Sweptail. The result of over 4 years' work, this one-of-a-kind car was reported to cost $13 million, previously holding the title of the world's most expensive new car. But while other top-end car manufacturers focus on speed, maneuverability, and super lightweight supercar status, Rolls-Royce cars are expensive for one reason: luxury. About 250 miles away from Rolls-Royce is a small factory in Sheffield, northern England, a city renowned for its stainless steel blade making for centuries. These handmade scissors have been produced in Sheffield, England for over 100 years. But compared to a $2 mass-produced pair, the kitchen scissors will cost you over $100, and a pair of professional tailor's shears cost $315. So just what is it that makes them so expensive?
Ну, наоборот, ну нет, понял. Ну да. Ну нет, ну вот это, да, верно.
Cliff Denton is one of just 2 master putter-togethers left. Both in their 70s, the masters are the only ones skilled enough to undertake the final, delicate part of the process, the assembly of these scissors, or putting together.
When I was young, every street corner had a little shop with masters in
Да,
and working. They've gone.
да,
You know, at one stage we were doing like 85, 90
да.
different types of scissors.
In the 1970s, there were 150 small-scale scissor workshops in Sheffield. Now, there are just 2. And keeping this craft alive relies on training the next generation of apprentices.
You know, you've just got that like magic touch. I had to hold it, I had to stroke it, I had to edge it. And this, to instill on young lads, is hard. Because it's not something you can write down and learn read. They've got to actually do it.
Young lad. Actually do it. Ну, каюшки. Ладно. Prima nostra.
Unlike cheaper mass-manufactured scissors, almost all of the work is done by hand. The starting outline of the scissor is hot-drop forged off-site. This is called a blank, and while it may already have the shape of a very rough pair of scissors, the process has only just begun. The blanks first need to be drilled, counterbored, and tapped. This puts a hole in the centre of each half and adds a thread to that hole. Once that work is done, the blades have to be ground down. The blank has no blade on it whatsoever, so initial grinding has to be done on a 50-year-old Viotto machine, before further refinements are done by hand.
So if you were to look at a cheap...
So initial grinding has to be done on a 50-year-old Viotto machine. The blades have to be ground down. The blank has no blade on it whatsoever, so initial grinding has to be done on a 50-year-old Viotto machine, before further refinements are done by hand.
So if you were to look at a cheap pair of scissors, you'd quickly notice that it's actually a stamped out piece of metal that have just been bolted together and a blade's edge put on them. So when we grind the inside of the blade, we'll say there are three angles to it. You've got to have a curve from the pinch of the scissor to the point, which means that when the blades are together, you should be able to see a gap through the middle. We'll also want to grind in a twist, and then finally we want to hollow the blade as well. And what that will give us is a scissor that will only ever touch at the cutting edge.
Once the blade is on, the rough edges need to be sanded off, from the bow, the shanks, and the nail holes. After everything's sanded down, the scissors are sent off to be hardened, turning the soft, workable metal into a hard final product. Then they're put into the rumbler for a few hours to be acid treated before being dried. Rumbling takes off any grind marks on the surface of the metal and prepares them for polishing.
We do different types of scissors. If it was our embroidery stalk, then we could work on maybe 500 embroidery stalks over 2 weeks to a month. However, if we were doing the same size batch, 500 13-inch scissors, then we...
Охренеть, просто вообще давит. Думаешь, что, ну-ка?
Pianists often ask, is it better to practice scales slowly or fast? And of course, it's good to practice both. Slow scales are good for a beautiful cantabile sound, for listening, for awareness of the movement, for evenness and legato. But of course, that isn't going to teach you to play really fast and fluently, so we need to practice fast scales as well. And one of the most important things with a fast scale is to have the mental preparation. The brain always needs to be one step ahead, so we...
Ой, я опять забыл про эту штуку. Опять сейчас... Ну, вот видишь. Ладно. Простота или простота? Ну вот наоборот, да, вот это. Наоборот. Наоборот, видишь, ты просто все говорит, да, то есть, а я вещь, что ли, да. Да, типа, ну это же да. Так это Света как будет. Ой, куда идешь? Про себя так думает. это надо перегрузить, потому что начинается наука. Ладно, тогда. Picturesque of your mind. Total reminder. Нет, мандрический. Конечно, мальчики. Значит, извините, не соединяйте еще никакими очками. Так, ладно. Так, кто нам идет тут? Сеньор. О, моя понимашки. Моя делает круглые понимашки. Эх, да, не. Да. Компатинатор. А, и эту штуку все время забываю. Wi-Fi. Маш, тут у нас Да наоборот. Старается. Да, личной стоянии. Да. Ладно, пусть будет на порядке. Заряжается пока. Заряжается, переживает.